My name is Jessica Quinn, 32 years old. The key sticks, then yields with a tired click that sounds exactly like my spine after 12 hours at Horizon Logistics. October air skims under my thin jacket as if to remind me I've postponed buying a real winter coat for a third year. I step into the entryway and the house shrinks around me on cue. The rose-scented plug-in my mother swears lifts the mood, makes the rooms feel smaller, closer, like it's wrapping everything in a floral plastic bag. "That you, Laurie?" Mom calls over the rising wail of a medical drama. I set my purse on the table, careful not to jostle the precarious stack of mail. "Yeah, it's me." The top envelope is a flashlight beam straight to the gut, a mortgage notice stamped final in a mean courthouse red. $1,150 due by Friday, 3 days from now. My thumb traces the embossed letters as if friction could erase them. 10 to 1, Dad would have called it a solvable equation. Dad used to count backwards with me during storms. 10, 9, 8, until thunder became less of a monster and more of a clock. I do it now. 10, 9. The refrigerator hums hopefully. I open it to a gallery of white shelves and self-discipline. 5 meal prep containers, Monday through Friday, chicken and steamed vegetables portioned with military precision. Everything else is empty. Control neatly labeled, scarcity free range. "Did you remember my prescriptions?" Mom again, expectant, not grateful. "In my bag," I say, forehead resting briefly on the cool metal door. I fill the kettle because my hands know the choreography, even when the rest of me is rubble. The check I cashed at lunch is already softer at the creases from being folded and unfolded a dozen times. I lay $1,150 beside the notice and slide an extra $50 on top for the inevitable late fee that arrives even when you sprint. In the doorway, the living room glows blue from the TV. Mom reclines in Dad's old leather chair like it's a throne and a sickbed, both. In the halo of light, her face looks older than 56. "My back is killing me," she sighs. "Could you bring the tea? And the sugar you always forget." I carry the mug to her. "Less TV volume might help your headaches," I offer, aiming for gentle. She grimaces at the tea. "Not enough sugar." Her eyes drift to the framed wedding photo of my sister Tessa on the side table. She touches the silver frame as if it purrs. "If only you had Tessa's sunny disposition. She never gets bogged down by little things." The little things. A mortgage, utilities, groceries, medications. "Tessa doesn't have to worry about the little things," I say, neutral as a judge. "Your father would be proud of how you take care of me." Her trump card. It lands where it always lands, between my ribs and my spine. In the bathroom, the mirror shows a woman who looks like she's been filed down to her serviceable parts, ponytail tightened to practical, dark circles smudged like thumbprints. "Just a few more months," I whisper. "Just a few more months and I start over." In my office, that isn't anymore, a desk drawer still holds the Denver promotion packet I didn't mail back. The edges yellowed, the opportunity stale as yesterday's coffee. Regional manager. 20,000 more. The way my life could have turned a corner. The kettle screams. I shut it off. My phone buzzes from the crumpled jeans on the tile. Tessa's name flashes bright and chirpy. For a second, I consider letting it go to voicemail. Dad's voice nudges, "Family is family." "Hey," I answer, bracing. "Jessica," Tessa chirps. "Guess what? We're coming home." The word snags. "Home?" Dylan's magazine downsized. Her voice lowers to a stage whisper, intimate with drama. "It's just temporary until we're back on our feet." The phrase ricochets through 5 years of memory. Just until Mom gets back on her feet. My feet, apparently, are a public sidewalk. "Have you told Mom?" I ask. She's thrilled. In the hallway, Mom's footsteps approach. "Is that Tessa? Let me talk to her." Mom plucks the phone from my hand and her face rearranges itself into a smile I haven't seen in months. "Sweetheart, I've already started planning." Yes, of course Jessica's thrilled." I can hear Tessa's laugh through the speaker, bright coins rattling. Back in my room, I stare at the wall like it's a horizon. "So," I say when Mom passes the phone back, "when are you coming?" "This weekend," Tessa says. "Isn't it perfect timing? Dylan already has promising leads. We'll take the big room." My room? I feel the house tilt a fraction, a slow landslide. "It makes sense," she says, breezy. "You're barely home anyway with all those hours." The world mutes, the way it does when you duck underwater. In the silence, I can hear the smallest sounds. The tick of the thermostat, the whisper of the heater, the exact place in my chest where resolve hardens like ice. I'll clear out my things, I say, and it feels like I'm reading lines I didn't audition for. After we hang up, I carry a wooden spoon to the stove and begin stirring nothing, because the alternative is cutting my hands on rage. Somewhere between clockwise and counterclockwise, the spoon snaps cleanly. I stare at the two pieces in my palms as if they've volunteered to be metaphor. Saturday arrives with the impatient chime of the doorbell. 3 quick rings. Tessa's signature knock. Can't bear to wait out a pause. I drag myself from the guest room that smells faintly of dust and the past. Boxes sit along the walls like a line of surrendered soldiers. The room I slept in for 28 years is stripped within an afternoon while I'm at work, the way you strip a bed when you don't plan to sleep there again. I open the door and Tessa flings herself at me in a blur of perfume and warmth. Jessica! Behind her, Dylan juggles 3 coordinated suitcases that could fund my groceries for 2 months. You made good time, I say, stepping back. Told Mom not to fuss, but you know how she gets when her baby comes home. Her baby, singular. The guest room is ready, she wants to know. I don't bother answering. Mom appears with a dish towel, eyes bright with a harvest of 1,000 little gratitudes that have nothing to do with me. There's my girl, she cries. To Tessa, not me. To Dylan, she calls, keys are on the hook. Take Jessica's car Monday. My hand stills over the pot roast I don't remember deciding to make. I have meetings across town Monday, I say carefully. I need my car. Your sister needs us right now, Mom answers, disappointed like I've failed a test. Can't you think of anyone besides yourself? I swallow the protest and its aftershocks. The aftertaste is metal. And I already told their landlord you'd cover the last 2 months of their lease, she adds, adjusting a magnet on the fridge. She says it the way you tell someone you watered their plants while they were away. The math gallops through my mind. Mortgage, utilities, groceries, gas, now 2 leases. I catch Tessa and Dylan's reflections in the oven door, their heads bent together in a whisper that smells like certainty. We'll be fine, Tessa murmurs. Jessica always handles everything. Later, after dinner and a dozen small humiliations disguised as logistics, I sit on the floor of my old room. The big room, apparently. Tessa's dresses hang where my winter coats used to be. My desk is shoved into a corner like an elderly relative. The floorboard under the window has been loose since Dad and I replaced the carpet. I slide my nails along its edge. Lift. Beneath, an envelope with 5 years of worst days tucked into it. $5,000 in cash. Dad's advice in faded Sharpie on the flap. Keep a little for emergencies. The Denver offer letter lies there too. The paper is brittle, the ink still decisive. I hold it and feel the weight of a path not taken, then set it aside and open my phone. A new message from Marcus at work waits like a doorway ajar. Offer in Knoxville still open. Regional role. Company housing available. I don't realize I'm holding my breath until the screen light flickers across my thumb. I text back, can we talk terms? His reply is instant. Absolutely. Start date flexible. In the living room, Mom's voice floats down the hallway. Dylan needs the car Monday, she says, like a judge issuing a ruling. In my notes app, I write, Movers Monday, 9 a.m. Utilities transfer. Close joint account. Leave 1 mortgage payment. Mail forwarding. The list is a map. My pen scratches quickly across a sticky note I press to the inside of the floorboard. You are not a well they can empty forever. By the time the house quiets, my decisions have congealed into something with shape. I wash a single mug and a single spoon because that is what I will need in the version of my life I have started without permission. From my doorway, I stare a long moment at the bed I made this morning. The dent of Mom's nap still visible at the center like an insistence. I could sleep, or I could step into the night and inhale air that doesn't taste like other people's needs. I turn off the hall light. In the dark, the mortgage notice on the entry table glows red from the street lamp. It looks like a stop sign. I decide to read it as a beginning. The dawn light in this house doesn't fall gently. It slices, thin, merciless, revealing everything you didn't fix the night before. The clatter of pans from the kitchen tells me Mom's already up, orchestrating her favorite performance, the early rising martyr. I pause at my doorway, the one that no longer belongs to me, watching Tessa's floral luggage spilled open across the rug like a brand display. My framed photos, college, Dad's fishing trip, even the Denver job offer, are stacked on the floor beside a half-eaten croissant. Morning, Tessa sings, emerging in one of my old hoodies, sleeves tucked into her palms. Dylan follows with that practiced grin of a man who knows charm is currency. Mom turns from the stove. There's my family, she beams. Then, noticing me, her tone shifts to business. Jessica, could you run to the store? We're out of eggs, and we'll need extra for brunch. I have to leave for work in an hour. She waves it off. You always find a way. You're organized. Translation. You'll do it anyway. I pick up my keys, but the sound of metal makes Mom glance up. Oh, Dylan will take the car, she says casually. He's got to start job hunting. My hand freezes midair. He doesn't even know the city. All the more reason he needs transportation, Mom replies, voice dipped in sugar that could rot teeth. You can take the bus. It'll build character. Behind her, Tessa hides a smile behind her coffee cup. I nod once, an automatic motion that feels like surrender. The bus. Sure. I used to think buses meant movement. Now they mean stasis. By noon, I'm at work, pretending to focus on logistics reports while my inbox fills with family chaos. Forwarded grocery lists, electric bills, a request from Mom for a little extra cash to get settled again. I close my eyes, count backward from 10, just like Dad taught me, but even numbers can't drown out their noise. At 3 p.m., my coworker Marcus leans on the partition wall. You okay? You look like someone told you there's a recall on air. Just family stuff. Family always is stuff, he says, sliding a folder toward me. Knoxville's still open. Regional position. Company apartment for transition. I told HR to hold the slot one more week in case you got smart. I half smile. You have an interesting definition of smart. Freedom's pretty smart, he says quietly before walking away. The folder sits between us like a dare. That night, the house smells like Mom's pot roast, Dad's favorite meal, resurrected now as a peace offering for the golden child's return. I sit in the cramped guest room, balancing my dinner on my knees. The bed dips in the middle. It used to be storage for holiday decorations. From the living room comes laughter, loud and overlapping. Then, footsteps. Dylan leans against the doorframe, hands shoved in pockets. Hey, sorry about the car thing, he says. You know how moms are, hard to say no. I look up. You're not her kid. He chuckles softly. Feels like I am now. Then maybe you can start paying rent like one, I reply. The joke lands heavier than I meant it to. He shifts uncomfortably. We'll get things sorted soon, promise. The phrase is a spark that finds dry tinder. Promise. The same word Dad used at the funeral. The same one Mom used when she swore she'd start handling bills again. The same one Tessa uses when she wants me quiet. I nod anyway. I'll hold you to it. When he leaves, I open my laptop, the screen glow reflecting off the thin envelope resting beside it. My emergency fund. $5,000. Dad's voice lingers. The world changes quick, Laurie. Keep something that's yours. Emails blink across the screen. One subject line catches me. Move-in prep. It's a month old, between Mom and Tessa. I shouldn't click. I do. Mom, don't worry about Felicia. I mean Jessica. She'll understand. She always does. Tessa, you're sure she won't mind about her room? Mom, she won't have time to notice. She works herself numb. I stare at the date, 3 weeks ago, long before Dylan lost his job. A hollow sound escapes my throat, part laugh, part disbelief. Every time I thought life was ambushing me, it turns out they'd sent the invitation themselves. Sunday, my only day off. I wake early out of habit, though no one else does. The quiet is strange, like the house doesn't know who to obey. I walk through the hallway barefoot, stopping at Mom's closed door. Laughter filters through. Tessa and her talking about color schemes for my room. Something more modern, Tessa says. That old furniture has to go. My jaw tightens, my furniture, my paychecks. In the kitchen, I grab my planner and a pen. If my life is going to explode, it will do so on my own schedule. To-do list. Call movers. Monday, 9 a.m. Transfer utilities to Clara Quinn. Close joint bank account. Leave one mortgage payment. File address change. Accept Knoxville position. When I'm done, I tape the list inside the cabinet door, behind the cereal boxes where no one looks. Proof that I existed here, organized, predictable, invisible. That evening, I find Mom at the table, balancing her checkbook. Don't worry, she says before I can speak. I worked out our grocery budget. We'll need about $400 more each month now that Tessa's back. Our grocery budget? She pushes the calculator toward me like an offering. You're better with numbers. I stare at the total, nearly half my monthly paycheck. Mom, this isn't sustainable. Don't start, she sighs. Your father would want us together. He'd also want you solvent. Her lips pinch. You sound ungrateful. I sound tired. From the living room, Tessa's laughter floats in again. We could host a barbecue next weekend. Perfect idea, Mom calls, instantly cheerful. I stand, pushing the chair back. Then you'll have plenty of company. Jessica, where are you going? To get some air. Outside, the neighborhood hums in its evening rituals, sprinklers hissing, porch lights flicking on. Across the street, Mrs. Henderson waters her begonias. She waves, her expression tentative. I wave back. She must have heard the gossip already. Jessica, the dependable one, the caregiver, the paycheck that never argues. The night air is crisp, cleaner than anything inside that house. I pull out my phone and type Marcus's number. He answers on the first ring. I'm in, I say. He doesn't ask for clarification. Good. Movers? Monday at 9. Welcome to Knoxville, he says. For a moment, I can't breathe. Then I do, slowly, deeply, like someone surfacing. Later, when the house is quiet, I pack. I take only what I can carry. My clothes, Dad's old wristwatch, the folder with the Denver letter, and the cash envelope. The rest, the furniture, the framed photos, the years, they can keep. I stand in the doorway one last time. The moonlight catches the mortgage notice still pinned to the board by the entryway. It's been joined by a fresh list from Mom titled Family Expenses. 2 columns. My name appears under every line item. I smile, a small, startled thing, more disbelief than joy, because in 12 hours, those columns won't include me. As I slide the door shut, the latch clicks like punctuation at the end of a long, overextended sentence. And for the first time, I don't plan the next paragraph for anyone else. The movers arrive right on time, 9 a.m., sharp. 2 men in blue shirts with names stitched over their pockets, Ken and Rudy, stand on the porch, yawning in unison. The truck engine idles in the driveway, a low growl that feels like a countdown. You sure about this? Ken asks, scanning the modest pile of boxes I've stacked by the door. Positive, I answer. It's all mine. He nods and starts loading. Each thud of a box against the dolly sounds like punctuation. Definitive. Final. Inside, Mom shuffles into the hallway in her robe. What's all this noise? I hand her a mug of coffee, the one small courtesy I still allow myself. I'm moving out. Her expression curdles. Moving? To where? Knoxville. I took the regional position. The silence that follows is an organism, alive, swelling between us. You can't just leave, Jessica. I can, I say softly, and I am. She grips the robe tighter. What about the mortgage? The bills? Tessa and Dylan just got here. I left one mortgage payment in the account. After that, it's your name on the papers. Her mouth opens, closes. You're abandoning your family. No, I reply. I'm ending an arrangement. Her eyes fill, but I've seen this play before. Tears as defense, guilt as currency. I refuse to buy it. Don't do this, she pleads. Your father would have wanted you to stand on your own feet, I cut in. He told me that once. Ken's voice echoes from the porch. Last box, ma'am. I nod, sling my duffel bag over my shoulder, and step past her. The coffee mug trembles in her hand. You'll regret this, Jessica. Maybe, but at least the regret will be mine. The drive to Knoxville feels shorter than the years it took to earn it. The highway unfurls like a new chapter, trees flashing amber, road signs ticking by, like proof I'm still moving forward. I keep expecting to feel guilt, some monumental collapse of conscience, but all I feel is oxygen. The company apartment is small but bright. The walls a neutral cream that smell faintly of fresh paint. I unpack only the essentials: laptop, coffee maker, a framed photo of Dad from the fishing trip when I was 10. His face in the sunlight is calm, steady. He always said rivers don't rush, they just move. That night, I sleep through without waking once. No footsteps in the hall, no kettle whistle demanding tea, no voices murmuring from the TV at 3 a.m. When I open my eyes, morning light is pouring across my pillow like permission. I brew coffee exactly how I like it, black, no sugar, and sit on the balcony watching the city wake. My phone buzzes. 47 missed calls, most from Mom, some from Tessa. I scroll through the texts, skimming phrases like, "How could you and Dad would be ashamed and you left us with nothing?" For years, those words would have gutted me. Today, I swipe them away like static. At work, Marcus greets me with a grin. Look who finally escaped Nashville. I didn't escape, I say, setting my laptop on the new desk. I relocated my piece. Same thing, he smirks. By the way, the Knoxville branch already loves you. First week, you fixed 2 workflow errors the old manager ignored for months. I shrug. Old habits. He lowers his voice. Your mother's been calling the front desk asking for HR. I blink. What? Claims there's been a mistake, that you can't possibly work here full-time because your family needs you back. A laugh bubbles out of me, sharp and incredulous. Of course she did. Don't worry, HR knows it's personal drama. I told them to block her number. I meet his eyes, and for the first time, I see something I hadn't noticed before. Quiet respect. Thanks, Marcus. He nods. Boundaries, Quinn. You're allowed to have them. 2 weeks later, a crisp fall morning finds me walking to work, coffee in hand, when my phone buzzes again. Unknown number. I almost ignore it, but the voice that greets me is familiar, high-pitched and trembling with outrage. Tessa, what do you want? You need to come home. Mom's losing it. The electricity's about to be cut off. I left everything in order. Utilities paid through the month. That's not enough. We need you. The old reflex twitches in me, the part that wants to fix, to soothe. But another voice rises louder, the one I've been nurturing quietly, the one that's mine. You'll figure it out, I say, and hang up. The guilt doesn't come, not even a tremor. Friday afternoon, Marcus appears at my desk with 2 coffees. Thought you could use caffeine before the meeting. Thank you. He leans against the partition. You know, you don't flinch anymore when your phone rings. I pause, realizing he's right. The conditioned dread has faded, replaced by something steadier. I guess I finally ran out of apologies, I say. Good, he replies. Apologies make bad armor. The meeting goes well. I present the revised shipping routes, reducing delays by 14%. My supervisor, Mr. Reynolds, nods approvingly. Whatever Nashville paid you, it wasn't enough. When I return to my desk, a new email notification glows. Performance Excellence Recognition. Jessica Quinn. I stare at it for a long moment, smiling softly. That night, I celebrate alone. Chinese takeout, a cheap bottle of wine, the kind of quiet that tastes like victory. I light a candle just because I can. The next morning, the intercom buzzes. Ms. Quinn, the doorman says. 2 women are downstairs asking for you. They say they're family. My stomach tightens. Tell them I'll be right down. In the lobby, Mom and Tessa stand like twin storms waiting to break. Mom's cardigan is buttoned wrong. Tessa's makeup is flawless, but her eyes gleam wet. There she is, Tessa announces to the entire room. The daughter who abandoned her family without a word. Heads turn. The security guard shifts uneasily. Good morning, I say evenly. This is unexpected. Mom steps forward, hands trembling theatrically. Jessica, how could you leave us with nothing? The house is falling apart, and the bills? I left the accounts paid through the month, I interrupt, and detailed instructions. You chose not to follow them. That's not enough, Mom's voice cracks, echoing through the marble lobby. We need you, Jessica. We've always needed you. The guard glances at me. Everything all right, Ms. Quinn? This is a private matter, Tessa snaps. She's our sister. We just want to talk. Marcus appears from the hallway, coffee in hand, calm as ever. She's also our employee, and we have a meeting in 5 minutes. Tessa glares. You can't just walk away from family. Marcus steps slightly forward, casual but firm. Ma'am, only staff past this point. I meet his eyes briefly, then turn to Mom and Tessa. I have to go now. I hope you figure things out. The look of disbelief on their faces follows me into the elevator, lingering even as the doors close. By the time I reach my floor, my pulse has steadied. The tremor that used to trail behind confrontation is gone. For the first time, I realize peace isn't a gift someone gives you. It's a decision you stop apologizing for. That evening, my neighbor Sarah knocks, holding a casserole dish the size of a suitcase. Thought you might want some real food, she says. Moving to a new city can be lonely. I laugh, accepting it. You have no idea how perfect the timing is. Over dinner, she tells me about her teenage sons, her garden, the way she once left a suffocating job in Memphis. Took me years to admit I didn't owe them my health, she says, sipping wine. Her words land like confirmation. I'm not alone in this kind of freedom. When she leaves, I stand by the window, city lights flickering below. Somewhere out there, my family is probably rewriting the story, casting me as the villain. Maybe they always will. But tonight, for the first time in years, I don't care about the narrative. I care about the quiet. The phone buzzes once more on the counter. Mom's name glows on the screen. I watch it ring, then let it fade to silence. In that silence, I hear something I've never heard before in this life of constant noise, my own heartbeat, steady and unhurried. It sounds a lot like peace. 3 weeks have passed since the lobby incident, and the Knoxville skyline has already begun to feel like home. Crisp edges softened by morning haze, coffee steam curling above my balcony like a flag of quiet victory. Then, one afternoon, my phone buzzes with a name I haven't seen in weeks. Mrs. Henderson. "Jessica, honey," she says, her Tennessee drawl warm but uneasy. "I hate to tell you this, but your family's telling folks back home you vanished. They're saying the house is about to be foreclosed because of you." I grip the mug tighter. "That's not true." "I know, sweetheart. Anyone with sense knows it's not. But lies travel faster than truth." She pauses. "Thought you'd want to know." "Thank you," I say. When I hang up, I don't cry or curse. I just think. Some debts can't be paid with money. Some need receipts. Saturday morning, I'm back on Oak Ridge Lane. The neighborhood looks smaller, like the cameras zoomed out. The mailbox leans, paint peeling. Dad's rose bushes are wilted, unwatered. I park across the street and watch the front door open. Dylan steps out, carrying a box to his car. He freezes when he sees me. "Jessica," he says, blinking as though I'd materialized from guilt. "Jesus, you scared me. I need to pick up a few things." He glances nervously toward the door. "Claire's not going to like this." I'm aware. Inside, the air smells faintly of bleach and cheap candles, the scent of panic cleaning. The living room stops me cold. Where my furniture once stood, there are faint outlines on the hardwood, like chalk around a body. The bookshelves Dad and I built are gone. The coffee table I refinished, gone. My life erased, right down to the nail holes. Mom appears from the kitchen. "You took everything," she accuses before I can speak. "I took what I paid for," I reply. My voice is calm, almost gentle. Dylan frowns, looking between us. "Wait, paid for?" Tessa enters, her hair perfect, her expression brittle. "What's this, an interrogation?" I meet her eyes. "No, just clarity." Dylan turns to her. "You said Jessica was helping with the bills." "She was," Tessa says quickly, "until she abandoned us." I reach into my bag and pull out a folder. Neat. Labeled, impossible to ignore. Mortgage statements, utilities, grocery receipts, 5 years' worth, all with my name on them. Tessa snatches one page, scanning. Her face pales. "You've been paying everything?" "Dad's insurance policy paid out $36,000, I remind her quietly. "It disappeared within 8 months." Mom's face flushes deep crimson. "That money was for family expenses. The kitchen, your sister's car." "My car?" Tessa's voice cracks. "You told me there were savings." Mom stammers, eyes darting. I didn't think you'd understand." Dylan exhales, his hands rubbing the back of his neck. "So the kitchen, the car, the bills, all from her?" No one answers. The silence stretches so taut it hums. Finally, Mom sinks into the couch, my couch, ironically, and whispers, "Please, Jessica, help us figure this out. You always know what to do." There it is, the line that built my cage. I look at her, really look, the fragile theatrics, the practiced helplessness. It's not illness, it's convenience. "No," I say softly. Tessa blinks. "What?" I said no. Figure it out yourselves. Tessa's shock sharpens into rage. "You're really going to stand there and do nothing? After everything Mom's done for you?" "My heart's fine," I tell her. "It's just no longer available for your use." Mom clutches her chest dramatically. "My blood pressure medication is almost out. The doctor says stress could—" "Then you should rest," I interrupt. Dylan, late to the party, points at me like a prosecutor. "You should have told us how bad things were before you left." I step closer, place a single document on the counter. 5 years left. The mortgage is yours now. Tessa grabs my arm. "You can't just walk away from family." I gently remove her fingers. "You wanted each other. Now you have each other." The front door feels lighter than I remember. When it closes behind me, the latch makes no sound at all, just a whisper, like the house exhaling relief. The next morning, my phone pings with a notification. Attempted login. Closed joint account. Clara Taylor. I shake my head, screenshot it, and forward the image to my lawyer with one word. Predictable. By noon, another alert. A new GoFundMe page. Help the Taylor family keep their home. A photo of Tessa and Mom, side by side. The caption, "After our ungrateful daughter abandoned us, we're struggling to survive." My jaw tightens, but I don't reply. Not yet. Instead, I take screenshots, save timestamps, and send everything to my attorney under a new subject line: defamation, phase 1. Marcus calls later that afternoon. "You've gone viral," he jokes, half serious. "Tessa showed up at corporate headquarters today asking for a charity donation in your name." I rub my temples. Of course she did. What did Mr. Reynolds say? He shut it down fast. Said company policy doesn't allow family bailouts, especially not from employees with outstanding performance awards. A laugh escapes me, dry and humorless. Tell him I appreciate the PR support. Marcus hesitates. You okay? I'm fine, I say. And it's true, mostly. The hurt has shifted from sharp to dull, like a healing bruise. That night, I sit at my desk with a candle burning low. I type the final letter to my mother. To Clara Taylor, this letter serves as formal notice that as of October 15th, I am no longer financially responsible for the property at 1422 Oak Ridge Lane. All accounts have been settled. Jessica Quinn. I print it, sign it, and fold it neatly into an envelope. My handwriting is steady, my pulse even. As I seal the flap, my laptop chimes. Suspicious review posted on Horizon Logistics. The message reads, "Jessica Quinn handles work the way she handles family, by abandoning ship when things get tough." My cursor hovers over report abuse. Then, methodically, I forward it to HR with an attached note, family retaliation, for documentation. It feels surgical, professional, detached, a far cry from the trembling reflexes of a month ago. By evening, exhaustion has settled deep, but it's not the old kind, the bone-heavy fatigue of being responsible for everyone else. This is a clean kind of tired, the kind that comes from finally setting a boundary and watching it hold. I pour a glass of wine and step onto the balcony. Below, the city glows like a circuit board, pulsing with lives that aren't mine to fix. Somewhere, miles away, that house sits under the same moonlight, maybe quieter than before. Maybe not. My phone buzzes. One new message from an unknown number. "You can't just walk away from family. This isn't over." I don't respond. I simply block the number, set the phone face down, and breathe. For the first time, my lungs fill all the way. Inside, the candle flickers, casting my shadow across the wall. A woman standing alone, upright, unbent. And maybe, I think, that's exactly what freedom looks like. Not fireworks, not closure, just stillness that no one else can interrupt. Hospitals always smell the same, antiseptic and anxiety. When I push open the door, the scent hits me like a memory I never wanted back. Mom lies against white sheets, smaller than I remember, her silver roots showing through fading chestnut dye. She looks up, eyes glassy. "You came," she whispers. I did. I set the daisies on the windowsill, the only kind of flowers she's never allergic to. The doctor said it's just a minor procedure. Her hand flutters to her chest. "My heart, honey. The palpitations started after you left. Dr. Simmons says it's stress-induced." Translation: This is your fault. I pull the visitor chair closer but don't sit. "Tessa made it sound like you were dying." Mom's sigh trembles. "In a way, I am. My family's broken. You cut us out like a bad limb." Before I can answer, the bathroom door opens. Tessa steps out, perfectly dressed, phone in hand, her expression a curated mix of surprise and relief. "Oh, you're here!" she exclaims, as if I were a celebrity guest and not the target of a smear campaign. She tucks the phone away, moving in for a hug I don't return. "I didn't get your messages," I say. Her smile tightens. "I sent them weeks ago, about the family meeting. We all want to talk, clear the air." "I'm not staying for any meeting." Tessa hesitates, then pulls a leather-bound photo album from her tote. "I brought this to remind you who we are." The cover creaks as she opens it. The first photo is Dad teaching me to fish, Tessa watching from the shore in her polka dot dress. The next, our Christmas table, Mom laughing, Dad carving turkey. My chest aches, but not with nostalgia, with exhaustion. "Family comes first," Tessa says softly. "That's what Dad always said." "Is that why you told people I had a breakdown?" I ask. Her eyes dart to Mom. "What are you talking about?" "The GoFundMe, the gossip. You wanted to make sure no one listened to my side." Mom's monitor beeps faster, the rhythm matching the pulse in my temple. "Felicia, Jessica," Mom starts. "Please, not now." "Then when?" My voice sharpens. "After you ruin what's left of my life?" "Ruin?" Tessa scoffs. "You left us in debt." I unzip my bag, pull out a thick folder, and place it on Mom's tray table. Evidence. Mom frowns. "What's this?" "Every receipt." Mortgage, groceries, utilities, medical bills, 5 years, all in my name. I flip through the pages, the paper edges rasping like sandpaper. That's cruel, Mom murmurs. I was grieving. So was I answer quietly. But I still went to work. I still paid for everything. The last page is a yellowed document, the Denver offer letter. I lay it on top. I said no to this because of you. 5 years, Mom. 5 years I'll never get back. Tessa's phone buzzes. She glances at it, then smirks. Perfect timing. Uncle Robert and Aunt Sarah just arrived. The pastor's with them. The door opens before I can react. Uncle Robert walks in first, carrying that teacher's calm authority that always made kids straighten in their chairs. Aunt Sarah follows, purse clutched like a shield. Behind them, Pastor Williams, his kind eyes searching mine with pity that feels like accusation. Jessica, he says, we're here to help your family heal. Good, I reply, standing. Then let's start with honesty. I gesture to the folder. These are the numbers, not stories, not tears, facts. Uncle Robert steps closer, squinting at the totals. His eyebrows rise as he scans the pages. Clara, he says slowly, this can't be right. Mom stares at the ceiling. I don't want to discuss finances. Tessa interjects. Jessica's been under stress. She doesn't mean to. I've been under stress because I've supported 3 adults on 1 income, I cut in, while you told everyone I abandoned you. Aunt Sarah picks up one statement, her jaw tightening. Clara, you told us she left you with nothing, that you were about to lose the house. Mom's voice wobbles. She took all the furniture. The furniture I paid for, I say, after Dad's insurance money vanished into kitchen renovations and a car no one needed. Pastor Williams clears his throat. Perhaps this isn't the time. It's exactly the time, Uncle Robert interrupts, his voice suddenly firm. He holds up the Denver letter. You turned this down to stay here? I nod. He looks at Mom, disappointment etched deep. Joe would be ashamed, Clara. Not of her, of you. And you, Tessa. You've both treated her like an ATM with a heartbeat. Mom's face crumples. I didn't realize how much I took. For a moment, I almost believe her. But the apology feels like wind. Heard, not held. I don't need apologies, I say, gathering my papers. I need respect, boundaries. But we're family, Tessa insists, her voice cracking. Family means no one gets left behind. Family, I say, doesn't mean one person carries everyone else. Mom reaches out, tears sliding down her cheeks. Please, don't leave angry. I'm not angry, I tell her, and it's true. I'm finished. Tessa steps in front of the door, desperate now. Can we at least talk about the mortgage due next week? No, I say simply. The single syllable lands like a gavel. I brush past her and walk out into the hall, the fluorescent lights buzzing above me. My heart is steady, my breath even. Behind me, voices collide. Mom's sobs, Tessa's protests, Pastor's murmurs, but they fade with each step. Outside, autumn sunlight breaks through the hospital's glass doors, flooding the sidewalk. I stop for a moment, feeling it warm my face. For years, I believed freedom was something to earn, but standing here now, I realize it was something to stop giving away. I turn toward the parking lot, keys in hand, and walk to my car. No tears, no guilt, just motion. And the quiet, astonishing realization that the world didn't collapse when I said no. It simply made room. A year has passed since the hospital, and mornings finally feel like something I want to wake up to. The Knoxville sun filters through gauzy curtains, painting lazy gold stripes across the hardwood floor. I stretch beneath a quilt that smells faintly of lavender and detergent instead of worry. The bungalow isn't big, 2 bedrooms, a porch swing, and a garden that still surprises me with new blooms every week. But it's mine. The title, the mortgage, the peace, all mine. I pad barefoot into the kitchen. The fridge hums softly, stocked with color instead of emptiness. Fresh greens, jars of homemade jam, a bottle of orange juice in glass, because I like the sound it makes when it clinks. I pour coffee and step out to the garden. Dahlias nod in the light breeze. Black-eyed Susans tilt like cheerful sentries. I used to measure my days by crisis calls. Now I measure them by how long I can sit here before opening my laptop. The doorbell rings. Robert Hale stands on my porch, holding a paper bag that smells like butter and almonds. Scones, he says, grinning. Still warm. I made too many. You always make too many, I tease, but I let him in. He's been in my life for 6 months, a literature professor with laugh lines deep enough to trust. What began as coffee after a community workshop turned into dinner, and then something gentler. With Robert, silence isn't heavy. It's rest. He sets the scones on the counter. Big day. Your team meeting? I nod. Quarterly review. Promotions official. Regional Director Quinn, he says, mock salute. I roll my eyes, but pride tugs at my mouth. Dad would have loved hearing that title. Robert pours us coffee, his movements unhurried. Your father's the one who taught you to build things that last. He'd be proud that you finally built something for yourself. We eat in companionable quiet until my phone buzzes. Cousin Vivian's name flashes on the screen. I almost ignore it. Then I answer. Jessica, she says, voice trembling. I wouldn't call if it weren't serious. Derek left. The kids and I can't make rent this month, just until I get back on my feet. The phrase lands like an echo from another life. My pulse quickens out of habit, but I steady it with one deep breath. I'm sorry that's happening, I say evenly. There's a community resource center on Willow Street. They offer emergency rent assistance. I can text you their number. Silence hums at the other end. That's it? Vivian asks, disbelief edging into offense. After everything our family's done for you? Yes, I say simply. That's what I can offer. She hangs up without goodbye. I stare at the phone for a moment, then set it face down. Robert raises an eyebrow. Crisis averted? Handled, I correct, smiling faintly. Without guilt this time. He grins. Progress. At work, the office buzzes with midweek energy. Marcus greets me with a two-finger salute as I pass his desk. Director Quinn, the legend herself. Heard HR just sent a memo about your department's performance metrics. 14% improvement in 6 months. Team effort, I say, though I can't hide the satisfaction. During lunch, Jennifer, a new coordinator, barely in her 20s, hesitates by my office door. Can I ask you something? Of course. She steps in, twisting a pen between her fingers. My brother's moving in temporarily, but he's already talking like it's permanent. I'm scared to say no. He helped me after college, and I feel like I owe him. I recognize the tightness around her eyes, the guilt that feels like gravity. Jennifer, I say gently, your worth isn't measured by sacrifice. I reach into a drawer and hand her a business card. My therapist's name, sliding scale, and if you ever need to talk boundaries, coffee's on me. Her eyes glisten. Thank you. I didn't know I could choose differently. You can, I tell her. You always can. That evening, Marcus and his wife Janine host dinner at their place. Laughter spills through the open patio doors, mingling with the smell of grilled peaches and rosemary. When Janine hands me a glass of wine, she says, You've inspired half the office to set boundaries. You realize that, right? I laugh. If I'd known leaving one house would start a movement, I'd have done it sooner. Marcus raises his glass. To quitting the family job nobody asked for. We toast, and the sound of clinking glasses feels like an exorcism. Later, when I drive home, the street lamps cast halos across the wet asphalt. For the first time in years, I don't feel like I'm returning to an empty house. I'm returning to my space, one that doesn't drain or demand. The next morning, I find an envelope in my mailbox. The handwriting is familiar, curled, deliberate. Mom. Inside, a single-page note. Jessica, the house sold last month. After expenses, there wasn't much left. I'm renting a small apartment near the pharmacy where I work now. I wanted you to know I'm managing. Tessa's living with Dylan's parents. I hope you're well. Love, Mom. No guilt, no demands, just facts. I read it twice, then fold it neatly and set it beside Dad's old wristwatch on the shelf. A quiet reconciliation, written in plain sentences. Maybe it's the closest we'll ever come to peace, and maybe that's enough. That weekend, Robert and I host a small gathering at my bungalow. Marcus and Janine bring wind chimes for the porch. Sarah arrives with cuttings from her garden, the descendants of the herbs I once grew on Oak Ridge Lane. These belong with you, she says, placing the pots into my hands. They always did. As the evening deepens, laughter weaves through the rooms. There's no tension here, no invisible tally of debts owed, just people choosing to stay. Later, when everyone's gone, I sit on the porch swing, the chimes whispering in the breeze. The night smells of jasmine and possibility. My phone vibrates. Mom's name. I hesitate, then answer. Jessica? Her voice is soft, cautious. I just wanted to hear you. For a long moment, I say nothing. The old reflex, to brace, to defend, fades under the sound of her breathing. I'm here, I say finally. That's enough, she whispers. And maybe it is. As the wind rustles through the chimes, I think of all the versions of myself I've been. The daughter, the caretaker, the ghost. And now, simply, the woman who breathes. The woman who stayed gone long enough to come home to herself. The first chill of November rides in on the wind, brushing against the porch wind chimes Marcus and Janine brought last spring. Their soft, metallic voices scatter through the yard like tiny reminders that the story I live now doesn't need translation. It's quiet, unremarkable, and completely mine. Then Mrs. Henderson calls. "Sweetheart, you won't believe it," she says without preamble. "That GoFundMe your sister started? People are asking questions." I lean against the porch railing, mug warming my palms. Questions? "Betty Marshall from church asked your mother straight up what happened to Joe's insurance payout. Clara stammered, said something about medical bills. Betty reminded her about that brand new kitchen remodel." I close my eyes. "And?" "She changed the subject. But honey, the truth's getting around. Folks remember who paid for that roof and those roses." For the first time in years, gossip works in my favor. "Thank you, Mrs. Henderson." "Don't thank me, dear. Just keep breathing free." When the call ends, I let out a small laugh. Truth, it seems, has a long memory. At Horizon's Knoxville office, I've settled into a rhythm I once thought impossible: leadership without exhaustion. The whiteboard behind my desk is filled with color-coded routes and the words, "Efficiency is empathy," my team's motto. During our Monday meeting, Jennifer presents her first solo project, revised shipment timetables that cut transit time by 9%. She beams when she's done. "That's brilliant," I tell her. "How's your brother doing?" She grins sheepishly. "Got his own place last month. I helped him move, but just his boxes, not his bills." The room chuckles. I raise my mug. "Progress looks good on you." As the meeting wraps, Marcus lingers by my desk. HR forwarded me something weird. He slides his tablet across. A review posted under a fake name. "Jessica Quinn abandons commitments, professional and personal." I sigh. "Let me guess, family?" "Probably. HR's flagging it as harassment." "Good. Keep the file open. I'll send the screenshots." He hesitates. "You ever think about suing?" "I already am," I say. "Defamation. Paper trail's airtight." He whistles. "You're dangerous now." "Just organized," I correct. That weekend, the neighborhood newsletter lands in my mailbox. Front page, local family learns hard lesson about overspending. The accompanying photo, blurred but unmistakably Tessa and Mom standing outside the sold Oak Ridge house, nearly makes me drop my coffee. The article quotes a neighbor familiar with the situation. I don't have to guess who. Mrs. Henderson's fingerprints are all over its plain-spoken truth. By the time I reach the end, "Sometimes love looks like letting go before resentment becomes inheritance," I'm smiling. Monday morning brings another surprise, a voicemail from Mom. "Jessica, I started a new shift at Wilson's Pharmacy. It's part-time, but it's honest work. I'm learning. Call when you can." No manipulation, no guilt, no plea. Just a sentence made of accountability. I replay it twice, just to hear how different she sounds. At lunch, I tell Robert. He nods, slicing an apple. Sounds like she's writing her own chapter now. "Maybe," I say. I'm not sure if she means it. He smiles. "Intentions take time to prove. Let her show you with consistency, not words." 2 weeks later, Horizon hosts its Thanksgiving potluck. The conference room smells like cinnamon and ambition. Marcus's wife brings pumpkin tarts. Jennifer shows up with a store-bought pie and zero shame. As we eat, Marcus taps his glass. Quick toast. To Jessica, who taught us that boundaries are just fences you build so the garden can finally grow. Applause ripples through the room. My throat tightens, but the tears that threaten aren't sorrow. They're relief. That evening, when the sky turns velvet and the office empties, I sit alone at my desk. Outside, city lights glitter like promises kept. I think about all the stories people once told about me, selfish daughter, runaway, heartless woman, and how they're being replaced by quieter truths. The counter-narrative isn't revenge, it's endurance. It's outlasting the lie until it collapses under its own weight. When I return home, I find another envelope in the mailbox, cream paper, careful handwriting. Tessa. I open it slowly. "Jessica, I don't know what to say, except that everything's different now. Dylan and I are living with his parents. I've been applying for work, but it's hard. Mom says she talks to you sometimes. I'm not ready yet, but maybe one day." The year folds itself into winter quietly, without ceremony. Frost etches lace on the bungalow windows each morning, and the dahlias outside sleep under a blanket of soil. Inside, the house hums with stillness. Not emptiness, just space. This morning I sit by the window seat Dad built, wrapped in a shawl, coffee warming my hands. The mug is chipped at the rim, but I like it that way. Imperfect things tell the truth. The radio murmurs low jazz in the background, while sunlight stretches across the table, glinting off a neat stack of bills, each one paid on time, no red stamps, no panic. I open my journal, the leather one Dad gave me for my 16th birthday. On the first page, his handwriting still lingers. For your big ideas. I write beneath it, family isn't martyrdom. It's stewardship, of love, not obligation. The words settle like stones in a foundation. The doorbell rings. Robert stands on the porch, dusting snow from his coat collar. "Good morning, Director Quinn," he says with mock formality. In his hand, a paper bag that smells like cinnamon. "Breakfast contribution. Come in before you freeze." He steps inside, smiling at the wind chimes that sway faintly, even with the door closed. "I can't believe how peaceful it is here," he says, voice soft. "It's like the house itself exhales." "It does," I answer. "I used to live where every sound meant someone needed something. Here, silence is kindness." He sets the bag down and pulls out 2 pastries. "You've built a good life, Jessica." I nod slowly. It took me a long time to realize I was allowed to. We eat in comfortable quiet until my phone buzzes. A new message from Mom. "Lunch next Sunday? My treat this time." I show it to Robert. He grins. "Progress." "Maybe," I say, smiling. "We'll see if she actually lets me pay my own bill." He laughs, eyes crinkling. "You'll keep her honest." After he leaves for work, I walk through the garden, frost crunching under my boots. The herbs from Mrs. Henderson's cuttings are alive beneath the cold, stubborn, enduring. I run my fingers through the mint leaves and think of all the things that once rooted me in guilt and how they've withered since. In the distance, wind chimes sing faintly, their rhythm steady as breathing. I head back inside and open my laptop. A new email notification blinks. Tessa. Subject update. "Hey, Mom told me about your promotion. Congrats. I got a job at a dental office, part-time for now. Dylan's working construction. It's not glamorous, but we're okay. I know you don't owe us anything, but I wanted you to know I get it now. You were trying to survive. T." I read it twice, then leaned back in my chair. The ache that once came with her name doesn't rise anymore, just a soft, bittersweet warmth. Some stories don't need a sequel. They just need an ending written by everyone who heard enough to learn. That evening, I host a small dinner. Marcus and Janine arrive first, arms full of dishes. Sarah brings a pie. Jennifer comes late, cheeks flushed from the cold, waving a tiny houseplant. "For your windowsill," she says shyly. "Something green that doesn't demand much." I laugh, the perfect metaphor for my life. When everyone settles, I raise my glass, to starting over, again and again if we need to. Glasses clink. The wind outside whistles through bare trees, but inside, warmth fills every corner. After they leave, I stand on the porch with my coat pulled tight, watching the stars tremble faintly through thin clouds. A single message notification lights my phone. Mom, again, a photo this time. Her small apartment kitchen, plain and bright, a pot of soup steaming on the stove. The caption reads, "Dinner for one, getting there." I smile, pocket the phone, and exhale. Later, in bed, I reread what I wrote in my journal this morning. The page feels like a manifesto I didn't know I'd been writing for years. I add one final line beneath it. Peace isn't the absence of people, it's the presence of boundaries. Closing the journal, I set it on the nightstand beside Dad's watch. The second hand ticks steadily, a quiet pulse of time reclaimed. Through the window, the wind chimes stir again, whispering the same rhythm I've come to trust. Movement, pause, return. Tomorrow I'll wake early, tend the garden, maybe call Mom back. Not out of duty, but choice. And when I do, I'll remember that everything that tried to break me only taught me to stand on my own ground. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story too. I trace the final period with my thumb. For the first time, her words don't sting. They just exist. I fold the letter and place it beside Mom's on the shelf. 2 small artifacts of change. Not apologies, but beginnings. Outside, wind chimes murmur against the cold. The garden sleeps, the way all living things do before they bloom again. I sit on the porch swing, blanket around my shoulders, and breathe in the sharp air. The stories they told about me have stopped echoing. What's left is my own voice, steady, unashamed, alive.